Kelly. It's an honor to be here. I'm active in the LGBTQ community for a very personal reason. I had a son, Brendan, who was gay. He came out to the family and then came out very publicly all across Canada and the U.S. He was the student manager at Miami University hockey team. And about 3 months after he came out, he was killed in a car accident in Indiana. So we started You Can Play to remember Brendan and to move forward, but not ever forget what he did. So my involvement is very personal, and I think what you're doing here is fantastic. So my whole thing when I speak to high schools is we're going to ask everyone here to take 3 steps today. Take 3 steps today. Because there's nothing worse than going through high school in fear. There's nothing worse than going through high school lonely. There's nothing worse than going through high school thinking there's no help for you. So the first step we ask people to take is to practice acceptance. Practice acceptance, not tolerance. People say, well, we should have tolerance. You tolerate rain and cats and things that you don't like, really. Acceptance is very different. Acceptance is accepting people for what they are, no matter where they go to church, no matter who they go home with, no matter what color they are. Acceptance is very different. The best thing about Brendan when he came out is I didn't have to take back one thing I'd ever said. We didn't tolerate any homophobic language or comments in our house, any racial comments in our house, so I didn't have to take back one thing. I was able to hug him and say, it doesn't change a thing, Brendan. The fact that you're gay, you've given us a million reasons to love you. This doesn't change a thing. So that's number one. If we all practice acceptance, we won't need to have gay-straight alliances. We won't need to have pride parades. Like my goal is to come to the day where I don't have to march in a pride parade because we've incorporated that community into the whole community. So that's number one, practice acceptance. And there will come a time in your life, sorry, it's even 10 years later, it's still hard to talk about. There will come a time in your life when you can look back and appraise how you behaved in high school, how you acted toward the kids in your class, how you acted as a grade 11 student, as a grade 12 student. Did you try to make a difference, or did you do things that you'll be embarrassed about later? And now it's time to think about that. How are you going to live the next few years of your life and beyond? When Brendan came out, this is how sick things are. It was so public, I said, you better keep your head on a swivel for a couple weeks. If you're out at night, make sure you're with friends. You might get attacked, you might get beat up. So be very careful for the first few weeks after you come out. That's pretty sick. I believe that every student has the right to attend school without intimidation, harassment, or verbal abuse, let alone physical fear. I believe that. I believe acceptance is the key to harmony, and I believe good citizenship imposes a duty of acceptance. The first step is practice and teach acceptance. Now remember, the greatest ally that we have is time. I went to a high school in Minnesota. We have 3 grades in high school in Minnesota, 10, 11, 12. We had 1,000 kids in each grade. It's a massive high school, 3,000 kids. Not one gay student. Not one. Well, of course we had gay students. But back then you didn't dare acknowledge that to anyone. So we've already made tremendous progress, and we'll keep making tremendous progress. But the second step, and that's what today is important about, is that you can take a positive step to support the LGBTQ community. Join a gay-straight alliance, join PFLAG, march in a parade. Show this community they're important, show them that they have your support, show them that things are going to get better for them down the road. I'm a proud member of PFLAG, which is Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. I've marched in the Pride Parade in Toronto, I've marched in Calgary. I'll do that again, I'll keep doing that. But that was a step I took. I'm not just going to say I support this community, I'm a dues-paying member of PFLAG. And if I were still in high school and I was a high school football player and a hockey player, I would join a gay-straight alliance. I would make a difference. Second step, support this group. But there's still a macho code that persists. There's language we use that's unacceptable. There's still a thing, I'm an athlete, I gotta be macho, which is garbage. So the third step is we've gotta end homophobic language and we've gotta end bullying. Now, when I was in high school, we had one student in our school with a severe learning disability. and I had no idea he was being bullied. And I came out of gym one day, and someone had tipped his books on the floor. We didn't carry backpacks like you guys, we carried our books like this. Someone tipped his books on the floor. So I was gonna help him pick up his books, but as he bent down to pick up his books, somebody kicked him as hard as he could. So I grabbed this kid and threw him across the hall through the trophy case. So all the glass broke, everything came crashing down. The hallway emptied out in about 3 seconds like it does. And the gym teacher came out and I was helping Jordy pick up his books. And he asked what happened, and I told him. He said, well, who did it? I said, well, I'm not gonna tell you that. But I said, I'll pay for the damage. He said, no, he won't. He won't pay a thing. He did the right thing. That day, the football team met, and we said, no one touches Jordy. No one bothers Jordy. And his life changed that day. He went from a cowering, terrified kid to a confident kid, and he graduated on time. It was great. That could have gone the other way. It could have been a suicide. This is a sick statistic. If you're the parent of a gay kid, that kid is 14 times more likely to commit suicide than a straight kid. So these people need your help. They're important. They need your help. They need it now. So that's the third thing. We're going to end bullying. We're going to end homophobic language. We're going to make a difference. We're going to embrace this group. And we're all going to graduate together. If you see bullying, intercede if you can. If you're in a position to intercede, do it. Jump in there. If you can't, make sure you report it. The kids that suffer in silence deserve better. So if you can intercede and stop it yourself, do it. If it's not the right situation, you can't do that, make sure you report it to a teacher. Make sure someone knows this kid's in trouble. So you take these 3 steps, start today, learn and teach acceptance, take a positive step to support the LGBT community, and end homophobic slurs and bullying. This high school will be way better off. Those kids will be way better off, and you'll be able to look back with pride on your high school experience. So thank you. I'm sorry I'm not a more effective speaker when I talk about this. It's very hard for me to talk about my son. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.